And we got to talk to our old mate Harold the P. Cock-a-doodle-doo, because he's going to tell us all about, this is unusual, researching Ipswich's historic connection to the world of women's corsets.
Oh,
you would have wore a corset in your day.
Oh, it looked a lot better then too.
Yeah, a lot of things pushed up into your head. You're flaming eye. Your head would break open like a watermelon.
Oh, it felt like a wrap sushi.
Yeah. Let's talk to Harold the P. Cock-a-doodle-doo. How are you, Harold? What's it like out there?
Oh, look, it's a little chilly, but I'm pretty excited because it's not unusual finding stories like this because we always come up with something different for you every week for Ipswich, don't we?
Brilliant. And it's on historyouthere.com. Check it out.
Yeah, and look, I'm here in Canungra, as you know, in the scenic rim, to investigate Ipswich's connection to corsets. Yes, those corset things the women used to wear, and damos. Yeah, look, I'm standing by the Canungra War Memorial. Mm-hmm. It was built thanks to public subscriptions. You know, they even had picnic races and things to pay for it, you know, back in the day. Mm. Now, the memorial was actually unveiled in 1938, just before the Second World War, by a fellow named Adolf.
Right.
Yes.
Hitler.
Did you not? Adolf opened it. Now, although Adolf was wisely called Alf back in the day, his full name was Adolf Gustav Muller. He was a local member of Parliament and state minister. But anyway, look, you also know how in the past I've found names that are wrong in war memorials and get them corrected.
You do?
Well, I found another one here. On the memorial here is Solomon James Lane.
Right.
And he's incorrectly recorded on the memorial as S.L. Lane, but not S.J. Lane, as it should be. So, look, and it's even wrong in a plaque on the street. So there's a couple of places there I'm going to have to follow up. But he died of bronchitis in 1917, just weeks after arriving in England. Yeah, he didn't even get to the front.
Oh, he got to the back.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you about what's on the memorial, though. But there were 3 names there on the memorial from one family who served in the First World War. Mm-hmm. There's Joshua Ernest Jennings. He was reported missing on an attack on Pozieres in 1916, and his status was later changed to killed in action. Mm. Then there's Robert Sylvester Jennings. He was 6 foot tall, which is quite tall back then. Mm. And then there's Edmund William Jennings. Now, as a sergeant, he was mentioned in dispatches in the attack on Pozieres in 1916 on the same day that his brother disappeared. Mm. And Edmund, he would later be mentioned in dispatches a second time in the Second World War.
Wow.
Now, mentioned in dispatches twice, but in separate world wars, that's something that not many people have done.
I agree.
Yeah, and there were 5 more of the Jennings family. They're also here on the memorial for service in the Second World War. 2 of them were killed in action. Now, the Jennings family was a big family and included cousins in Ipswich.
Huh?
Yeah, look, there was the Professor, Thomas Jennings of Nicholas Street in Ipswich.
Right.
He died at home in 1911 after working for 40 years as a hairdresser.
Wow.
And his hairdressing skills were very highly regarded, I might add. Another cousin was George Jennings of Thorn Street and Park Street in Ipswich. His son Norman died as a POW of the Japanese just 3 months before the end of the Second World War.
Oh.
But, look, you might be disrupted by some noise in the background. I'm here live, and there's people gathering. I think they're West Bremer radio.
Well, they've got to be the fans.
Yeah. But anyway, George Jennings, look, his son died as a POW. Now, George's mother, that's George Jennings from Ipswich, his mother, Mrs. Ann Jennings. Now, she was the founder of the Jennings Corset Empire. Wow. She started the business in Brisbane in 1900 and pioneered a patented surgical corset.
Wow.
She was a managing director, and her philanthropic work included work supporting overseas missions. Mm. She died at a home hunting tower at Annerley in 1952, aged 86. Her death continued a series of major legal battles, similar to what you've probably seen with Gina Reinhardt and her children in recent years. Now, even before her death, there were allegations that Mrs. Jennings was induced to enter into transactions with undue influence of her son Herbert, who allegedly told his mother a number of untrue stories about his brothers. And the result was that 4 of the brothers were kicked out of the family business.
Wow.
And that was Ebenezer.
Bludgers.
Yeah, that was Ebenezer, Harold, Jack, and Ipswich's George Jennings. He was booted out of the family business. Now, the famous Dr. Raphael Salento visited Mrs. Jenkins and testified that the lady was mad and obviously completely insane.
She had syphilis.
So, yeah, well, I don't know, but upon Mrs. Probably not, I'm sure not, actually anyone listening. Now, upon Mrs. Jennings' death, her will was the subject of a writ issued out of the Supreme Court. So, Danny, next time you visit the War Memorials at Ipswich or Canungra in the Scenic Rim, think of Corsets, because there's a tight connection there with the Jennings family and Ipswich, of course.
I'm wearing one right now.
I can imagine it.
How much damage would they have done to the ladies' stomachs? Been still tightened up. It's ridiculous, wasn't it?
Oh, look! Well, I can only imagine. I've never tried it, but look, apparently they're coming back into vogue now. Some of the young kids are starting to snap them up in the old second-hand shops. Apparently.
Now, listen, we've got a few listeners there that have turned up, and it would be appropriate for them to go out with the old Harold H.
That's right. There's a crowd gathering around me here at the memorial at Canungra, and I think because of the promo I posted last night, and they're all, I mean, they were chanting Danny earlier on.
Danny, of course.
But they actually now they're pretty keen to give a big arc if you want to sign out with that.
Well, that was a wonderful segment. You'll hear him every week about this time, just out across the 8 o'clock news, and you can hear it, find out about that story and all the other stories, the local stories, on historyouthere.com. And here's, of course, Harold the H. Ark P. Cock-a-doodle-doo, and with the big crowd gathering around that cenotaph, let's have a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Where's Graham Kennedy when you need him? That was wonderful. Good on you. That was terrific, mate. Thanks for your time. Thank you to all the Arkers. We're proud of you at 8:20.